Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including Tesla releasing the new Model 3, Tesla's Model S and X upgrade coming soon, Cybertruck real-world range, and more. So let's get into it, and a special thanks to Recurrent for sponsoring a portion of this video. First up today, some huge news for Tesla's market share for both EVs and autos as a whole. The latest data from Kelley Blue Book indicates that Tesla has increased its deliveries in the US last year by 25% to 650,000 vehicles in the US. With that, they now hold a 4.2% market share of the US auto market. That is up from 3.8% of the total markets in 2022. Tesla has been growing very rapidly, delivering the majority of all EVs in this country. However, they still have a long ways to go before they can catch up with the largest automakers, who still hold double-digit market shares. The largest two, GM and Toyota, make up about a cumulative 30% of the total market share as of 2023. However, that lead is slowly diminishing, as together their market share has dropped by 1.1%. EVs are a big culprit here, of which GM and Toyota have both struggled with. Nevertheless, it is really impressive to see Tesla outperforming a lot of very well-established brands like VW, BMW, Subaru, and Mazda. Overall, Tesla has been performing great, and their sales are growing each year. As EV demand soars and a lot of other automakers remain unable to effectively scale electric production, then Tesla's share is likely to keep growing even faster. However, if Tesla wants to hit those double-digit market share numbers, they're going to need to start moving forward with production of their affordable $25,000 EV out of Texas. All of the leading car manufacturers offer a wide range of vehicles that can cater to most market segments, and sell a number of affordable vehicles, even if most aren't electric. Once Tesla is able to offer a truly affordable EV pre-incentives, then their popularity is only going to skyrocket from there. At that point, for a lot of people looking to buy a new car, the choice to buy a Tesla will be even easier. Next up today, Tesla has officially released the new Model 3 refresh in North America. This is the same refresh we saw a few months ago out of Shanghai, and now it is finally coming to North America, and they announced it on X, saying upgraded Model 3 is now available in North America. This is how Tesla does things a lot of times. This was a very quick and sudden refresh in the United States, and there was no event or anything for this. They are introducing two new colors on the Model 3, just like they did over in Shanghai, and those include Stealth Gray and Ultra Red. But of course, the biggest changes come to the exterior and the interior. The exterior looks different with new headlights and new taillights, and then the interior has a fully new design with stockless steering wheel, slightly larger touchscreen, upgraded center console, LED light bar, premium materials, upgraded sound system, rear display for rear passengers, ventilated front seats, and overall a quieter cabin. We thought that Tesla might introduce the Performance Model 3 along with this refresh in the United States, but for now there are only the two trims, just like in Shanghai. There is rear-wheel drive, which is still at $38,990, gets a 272-mile EPA range, 125 mile/hour top speed, which is slightly lower than before, and 5.8 seconds 0 to 60. Stealth Gray is the included base paint color. Then you have Pearl White Multicoat for $1,000, Blue for $1,000, Black for $1,500, and Ultra Red is $2,000. The base 18-inch wheels are now called the Photon wheels, and those are included and get the best range, but you can upgrade to 19-inch Nova wheels for $1,500, and that brings your range down to 248 miles. Then there's the all-wheel drive long-range version, and that comes in at $45,990. It gets a 341-mile EPA estimated range, which is 8 miles more than the Model Y was prior to this upgrade, a top speed of 125 miles per hour, and a 4.2 second 0 to 60. Same thing with the wheels, it's 341 miles EPA range with the Photon wheels and 305 with the 19-inch Nova wheels. For now, there is no Performance Model 3, so no version of the Model 3 qualifies for the US federal tax credit. At the beginning of this year, those rules changed a little bit to no longer make these cars qualify, and nothing has changed on this refresh regarding the batteries to make them qualify. We'll see if throughout the year Tesla can do something that will make these cars qualify, but as of right now, these are the prices. It's great to finally see this refresh come to North America because it has been a long time coming. When we saw Tesla announce this in Shanghai, everyone in the US started to go, should I just wait to buy a Model 3? And that was a very valid question since this brings so many upgrades to the Model 3. Have you been waiting to buy a new Model 3? Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts and if you have now ordered this new refresh. But going forward, this means that the Model Y, Tesla's most popular car, does not have a rear screen and does not have ventilated seats or any of these features that all of Tesla's other vehicles have. The Cybertruck, Model S, Model X, and now Model 3 have a rear screen, ventilated seats, and a bunch of other great features that the Model Y, their most popular car, does not have. So at this point, the Model Y is a little outdated, and Tesla is definitely going to need to move quickly to get that upgraded with the Juniper upgrade. It's fully expected that the Model Y is going to be upgraded just like they did with the Model 3, but they'll probably do it in China first again, and then it will come to North America. I'm really curious to see how that impacts sales of the Model Y in North America in the coming quarters. It's one thing to see a Model 3 refresh over in China and then wonder if you should wait to buy a Model Y in North America, but it's another to see the new Model 3 in person in North America and then see the Model Y next to it and be like, I kind of want the features that that has. Definitely exciting to see Tesla refreshing this car since it's a very popular vehicle and just got a lot better. Next up today, Tesla has just updated the estimated ranges on several of their cars and are offering customers with reservations an option to reconfigure their orders in light of these changes. A few days ago, Tesla officially lowered the estimated ranges on the Model S, Model X, and Model Y. This comes after the EPA officially implemented a new procedure for rating EV ranges, quote, to ensure sticker estimates for all manufacturers more closely reflect real-world range. This rule applies to all car manufacturers, but Tesla is known for being on the more optimistic side when it comes to reporting their vehicles' ranges. This is compared to a lot of other automakers who generally reported lower ranges, but that were a bit more accurate to the real world that most people would see with normal driving behaviors. Tesla has changed the ranges for the following vehicles. The Model Y long range dropped from 330 to 310 miles. Performance Model Y dropped from 303 to 285 miles. The Model X Plaid from 333 to 326. The Model S Plaid dropped from 396 to 359, and also the top speed of the Model S all-wheel drive was adjusted from 149 to 130. In light of these changes, all customers who had a pending purchase for one of these vehicles received an email asking them to reconfigure their orders by January 10th. The email explains the changes in mileage due to the new EPA rule, as well as, quote, several comfort and functionality improvements which require more energy from the battery pack. If customers don't reconfigure their order by January 10th, then Tesla will cancel their order and issue a refund of any fees collected so far. It may be a bit disappointing for a customer to receive an email that says your ordered car will have a lower range now, but these new EPA rules are a good thing overall. While most EV enthusiasts will know that the reported ranges of their car can be pretty substantially impacted by a lot of other factors, a lot of new customers may not be as well informed. EV sales are growing every single year, and that means that tons of customers are purchasing their first EV every single day. This will be good as it should give new customers a more accurate expectation of the kind of performance that their vehicle will have. Range anxiety is one of the primary things that holds new customers back from buying an EV right now, and it's important to be informed of the realities of owning an electric car before making a purchase. Potentially in response to these changes, Tesla is now in the process of upgrading the Model S and X. There have been some rumors for a while now that Tesla may be abandoning the Model S and X, mainly based on how little they sell compared to other vehicles. For now, though, that doesn't seem to be the case. In 2024, the Model S and X are going to be receiving several small but still impressive hardware updates. A few days ago, Tesla hacker Green spotted something in software version 2023.44.30.8 that makes reference to an efficiency package that will be coming to the Model S, X, and Y. This is something that Tesla has done before, and is what Tesla calls updates to the battery or drivetrain that impact range. For example, in 2021, Tesla rolled out another efficiency package for the Model 3 and Y, when they introduced more efficient motors and moved from a 77 kilowatt-hour battery to 82 kilowatt-hours. An efficiency package could be coming directly in response to what we just talked about. With each range of Tesla's vehicles dropping, Tesla wants to put something in place that can help them bring back some of that range by means of efficiency. We'll see if they're successful with that here. Selling an electric car is not normally an enjoyable experience, at least it's not how I like to spend my weekends. On top of that, I've found that most dealerships grade electric cars on outdated combustion engine standards like odometer. A car might have more miles, but mileage does not necessarily equal battery health. That's why when it was time to sell my 2018 Tesla Model 3, I tried Recurrent. Recurrent's team of battery scientists compares one EV's battery and range to thousands of others to get offers from dealerships that place a premium on cars with good batteries. On Recurrent's site, I entered some basic info about my 2018 Model 3 mid-range, and their estimate was a little over $25,000, which included a $700 good battery premium. So I entered my contact info and they got started on collecting offers. While that was happening, I went to a few other national sites to check their offers. The first site thought my car was long range based on my VIN and still only offered me $22,000. After entering all details on another site, I found out they weren't even buying Teslas, and the last site's estimate was $24,000, closer to Recurrent's estimate, but I'd have to go negotiate with with dealerships to get that. Recurrent got back to me with several offers for my Model 3, and the best offer was from an EV specialist in the Bay Area called Ever Cars. They offered $26,000 to $29,000 based on a virtual inspection, then came to my house to pick it up. Overall, it was great. I got a better price and found a dealer I wouldn't have found otherwise. If it's time for you to sell your EV, click the link in the description below to sell with Recurrent. I think you'll be glad that you did. We don't know exactly what efficiency features will be coming to these models, but some other hardware features for the Model S and X were also spotted in this update. They make reference to a mechanical center horn coming to the new yoke for these vehicles. Since 2021, the horn on those vehicles was moved to a small touch-sensitive button on the wheel that you have to activate with your thumb. This feature was pretty controversial when it came out, and now, several years later, Tesla has finally caved to a bit of pressure here. I'm definitely glad to see this. Additionally, these models are seeing some features arrive from other models in their lineup. They will be receiving an updated interior that includes the ambient LED light strips that have appeared in the updated Model 3 and Cybertruck. Also from the Cybertruck, these cars will be seeing the addition of a forward-facing bumper camera. This has been a highly requested feature for some time now, and hopefully it makes its way to all of their vehicles. Additionally, some information was leaked a few months ago from a parts catalog that showed new seat designs coming for the Model S. These ones are very sporty and match the high-performance nature of the plaid Model S. It would help separate that car a bit from the all-wheel drive, which essentially feels the same inside. As I mentioned, there's been a lot of rumor and debate swirling around the future of the Model S and X. Some people thought these cars may even be headed towards obsolescence and may even be discontinued. With these updates, that prospect seems much less likely now, but it's still interesting to see the markets that Tesla no longer sells these cars in and the stark contrast in sales of these compared to the Model 3 and Y. I can't wait to see what other updates may come in this efficiency package that push these cars even further into the future. Next up today, Tesla has made a pretty big downgrade to the sound system on one of their most popular vehicles. For years now, the Model Y came with a fantastic sound system. It includes 14 total speakers with 2 amplifiers and 1 subwoofer. The rear-wheel drive model didn't exist for years in the US, but when they did introduce it, it came with the exact same sound system as the higher trims. This move was a bit unusual for Tesla, as they often installed more basic versions of their sound systems in their base trims. The rear-wheel drive Model 3, for example, had all the same speakers as the long-range and performance models, but several of them were deactivated. Now, the Model Y rear-wheel drive will come with a noticeably different speaker system, which they have listed on their website as custom audio. This speaker setup will now only include 7 speakers total, 1 amp, and no subwoofer. By comparison, the Model Y long range and performance both have the original speaker setup listed under the name Premium Audio. Tesla hasn't made any announcement as to what speakers have been removed, and we'll have to wait and see how this affects audio quality in these cars, but it will surely be noticeable if it's half the speakers. This was surely a cost-cutting measure on the cheapest version of their best-selling car, but hopefully those savings are passed down towards lowering the cost of the vehicle eventually. I imagine a lot of people wouldn't be too thrilled to receive a new car that is, in one respect, definitively downgraded from a car that they could have bought at the same price a month earlier, but that is how Tesla does things. There was no announcement here, and this is only coming out since people have noticed the change on their website. This change appears to only have occurred to Model Ys being produced in the US though. The European rear-wheel drive from Giga Shanghai still lists the premium audio setup as included. For now, we're not sure if that change is only coming to the US or if it just hasn't been updated for these other markets. Since this update was only put on their website a few days ago, it will likely be a little bit before this version starts seeing deliveries. Until then, we'll just have to wait and see how this new change impacts the overall audio quality of the car. I imagine the most noticeable difference might be the subwoofer, but we'll have to wait and see. Next up today, we are finally starting to see some independent tests showing the real-world range of the Cybertruck. Out of Spec Motoring live-streamed them driving a Foundation Series all-wheel drive Cybertruck on a 5-hour freeway range test. The estimated range for that vehicle is listed as being up to 340 miles, but that number isn't actually accurate to this vehicle in the real world. All Foundation Series Cybertrucks come with special 20-inch wheels and 35-inch tires, which are less efficient than the wheels that will be available on future wide release. This brings the expected range down to about 320 miles for the all-wheel drive. That's not a huge drop, but it is still already a little lower than Tesla's own advertised estimates. When their test was completed, the Cybertruck had been able to travel 254 miles on the highway, almost 70 miles less than those estimates. This test was done at relatively cold temperatures, around 48 degrees Fahrenheit, and driven around 70 miles per hour the whole time, but that is still significantly less than Tesla's estimates. Now, we do always expect real-world ranges to be less than the EPA estimates, as those are typically for the highest possible end, driving in prime conditions, but this is still a pretty disappointing drop. When this truck was first announced, Tesla promised that its top trim would be able to travel 500 miles on a single charge. Not only was that number unavailable on any of their trims on release, but real-world tests are showing a range that is almost exactly half of that. In even colder temperatures, that range may even be lowered yet, but we don't have much more conclusive data to say by how much. The only way to have your Cybertruck reach anywhere near that 500-mile range estimate will be purchasing a $16,000 range extender. This is a large battery that will require special installation into the bed of the truck that will raise its estimated range to 470 miles. That battery is currently unavailable, however, and we're not sure when we might see that be rolled out in the market. For a lot of customers, this range will still be more than enough for an EV truck. I recently got to spend a few days with the Cybertruck and I loved my time with it. I'm sure plenty of others will love the great things this truck has to offer. If you're interested, you can check out my full review of the Cybertruck on my channel or in the description below. However, for anyone who was hoping to take their truck on long road trips or planning to do a lot of heavy long hauling, this real-world range is probably a bit disappointing. As time goes on, these activities will become more feasible as the Cybertruck will be able to take advantage of the faster charging speeds being offered by Tesla's growing list of V4 superchargers across the US. Until then, though, for some, these range numbers leave a bit to be desired, and we'll have to see how that affects sales once the Cybertruck is ramped up. In other Cybertruck news, production of that truck continues with haste. Joe Tegmeyer shared this post on X, which shows 25 trucks in the outbound lot at Giga Texas. These photos were taken early on Monday, after production had resumed only earlier that day. If all of these vehicles were produced in just part of that day, then Tesla is clearly accelerating their production of this truck in a major way. They are increasing the rate at which they send out Foundation Series invites, and hopefully more customers will be able to get their hands on this truck as soon as possible. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. For a limited time, prospective EV customers will still be able to buy a 2023 Chevy Bolt for less than $20,000. The original Bolt EV was one of 13 models that was still eligible for the full $7,500 tax credit after January 1st. The 2023 Bolt has an MSRP starting at $26,500, which after the tax credit is applied at the point of sale, drops down to $19,000. With the $995 destination fee, the total price still falls under the $20,000 mark. This is an amazing deal for anyone looking to get a truly affordable EV, but if you want one, you're going to have to act fast. Chevy ended Bolt production last year and is looking towards introducing more cars to the Ultium line. This current generation of Bolts will eventually disappear as it is replaced by the larger Ultium Bolt EUV. This new Bolt should start sales in 2025, and although Chevy claims to keep this vehicle affordable, we aren't sure what its final price might be. In the meantime, if what this car has to offer appeals to you, now may be the best and last opportunity to buy this generation of Chevy Bolt before its big update. Rivian has posted their Q4 delivery numbers, and they didn't quite match previous quarters. The company delivered 13,972 vehicles in Q4 of last year, which is a 10.2% drop from the previous quarter. While this does align with industry analyst projections across Wall Street, their stock dropped about 10% as a result. On the other side of this, Rivian did produce a record number of vehicles for the company, having manufactured 17,541 cars, a 75% increase over last year. In all of 2023, Rivian produced 57,232 vehicles out of its factory in Normal, Illinois, which exceeded their production guidance of 54,000. While Rivian is scaling up their manufacturing efforts very well, being able to clear their production goals for this year by a decent margin, their sales haven't quite aligned with their ambitions. Rivian did not break down sales for individual models or distinguish between consumer vehicles and those produced in their partnership with Amazon. They will be releasing their Q4 earnings results on February 21st, which will give us a good look at how the company is actually doing. While none of Rivian's vehicles are eligible for the full $7,500 tax credit, they do offer R1T and S configurations that are eligible for the partial $3,750 tax credit. As many automakers lose access to the tax incentives entirely or back away from EVs like Ford, we'll have to see how Rivian performs in 2024. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see my full real-world review of the Cybertruck, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.